Mr. Campbell. I want you and Mr. Campbell just to take him under y'all wings next year and let him visit.
Really, we got him. Really, he don't been to more games. We don't sell him most.
He ain't been to the vet. He got to bring his behind to the vet.
That's why we got Zoe. He gonna get us straight.
You know what? I thought I was going to see the champ when I went to see Alabama State this spring, and it didn't turn out to be that way. And so this next year I may have to go with Jackson State as my preseason pick. So me and Coach Cole and Mr. Campbell may end up in Jackson for the spring game.
Yeah, so you come down here, let me know, Rocky. I got you. I'm gonna take you, get you some good barbecue and all that good stuff. I want you to get. I got plenty of barbecue. You want what? Catfish. Oh, catfish. Okay, then you let me know. I go fishing all the time. I don't even eat catfish. I like brims and white perch. Hey, and I'm going to give my catfish away, but now I know what to do.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Willie. We got some other people we're gonna get.
All right, man. I appreciate y'all taking my.
All right, we got my man here. My man got his camera on, man. So we're going to let him come on.
Look at that boy. Look at that boy. Boy, let me tell you something. Hey, hold on.
Hey, they want winning feel like. But I.
Hold on. I got to say this because I'm going to set you up. I went to church. And I'm telling you something. Them Jack State folks had their jackets on. They had their hats on at church because they had been praying. So Carter got that fresh championship shirt.
Fresh T-shirt. This is the first time I done wore it. I bought so much gear. I went crazy with it. But I have a real question for Coach Cole. So the first thing first, I actually agree with Coach Cole on the about the coaching hires. But my issue is this: when are we gonna hold the HBCU coaches like a Coach Cole, your brother Coach Cole, Teddy Keaton, Sam Shade, all these guys that you've named? When are we gonna hold them accountable, or all you guys accountable for saying y'all are responsible for training the next generation of head coaches? Because if coaches like yourself and all these coaches that have won championships in the SWAC and somewhere else, if they're not saying, hey, look, my offensive coordinator give you 40 a game, why isn't he up for the Norfolk job? The Alabama State defensive coordinator, why ain't he up for the PV job or for the Norfolk job? So if our coaches are not being held accountable for saying, I am your training ground, I am the coach of my coaches, then how can we be upset when Norfolk goes out and say, I'm gonna bring in Mike Vick instead of, say, the D coordinator at Alabama State, or and I hate to even say this, Zoe, do not jump on me, or Coach Quinn, right? What? So how do we rectify that problem, though? Yeah. And my second question to you is, you coach for X number of years. Is your offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator from that Texas Southern team, have they been a head coach, or are they still coaching right now? So I would put the onus on you to say, hey, I'm a Texas Southern man. I don't want a chip. My offense was giving you 30 a game. I had a leading defense. Where your tree at?
I'm gonna tell you my tree. My tree is outstanding. All right, it's outstanding. First of all, the O-line coach at the University of Alabama worked for me, Chris Kavilovic. All right, making over $1 million.
Okay.
My second guy, Grady Brown, defensive back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, making $500,000. My next guy was my right-hand man, Dora Williams, got a head job at Livingstone College. All right. My next guy is Richard Freeman, who was the head coach at Morehouse State University. My next guy was Darren Sneed, who came in and actually worked for me, finished #1 in the country. The head coach at Edward Waters, Torian Morgan, who I think is an exceptional guy. He's a head coach down there. He worked for me as well. Jimmy Smith, now at the University of Memphis, another one of my players. I mean, I have a tree. And if I'm asked those questions, and if I'm put on those committees, I could recommend those guys. And not just me, my brother, Rod Broadway, some of these other guys who came through the ladder in the time with me. See, when Eddie Robinson and them coach, torches was passed on. Eddie passed the torch to Doug. W.C. Gordon passed the torch. The other guys passed. That's how Alcorn, Grambling, Jackson State have remained relevant, because they have passed the torch on to their guys. Now we've gotten away from that, and now we've been to the outside. See, I was at a school at Texas Southern who stayed outside. And
you left somebody out, Coach. Did you leave them out on purpose?
I probably did.
Because they're playing for a Division II national championship.
Yeah, Tremaine Jackson. My tree. Tremaine, unless he come up under me. And he's playing for a national championship game. Thank you for reminding me, Coach. And it's several more that I don't even talk about. You know what I mean? People have taken my offense and put it into their content and the hobo offense, but because I'm a black guy, they don't want to call it the hobo offense. But if I was a white guy, they would be saying that. They come with the spread and all this other junk that
they do the same thing to Archie Cooley.
Well, see, but here's the thing, though. Coach brought up a good point, right? Because this is true, right? Grambling, Eddie Robinson has his tree. And what they would do is his coaches would have success. The coordinator would leave and go somewhere else. His tree would branch out. Same thing at Jack State. Coach Gordon. You had Carter Jones, Houston Markham. You had Judge. But here's the thing. I want to pay attention to what you did, Coach, because you think you slick on this statement now. You said Southern. You said Grambling. You said Jackson State. You know what you didn't say? You didn't say Texas Southern.
Texas Southern. I said I caught that same thing.
You didn't say Norfolk State. You didn't say Pine Bluff. But you know why?
Kevin Ramsey, defense coordinator, #1 in the nation.
No, here's the point I'm getting at. The point that I'm getting at, even though you're saying names, is success. I just told you, Norfolk State has lost more games than they've won in their history. They don't have that of what you speak of. So what I'm saying is, though you're saying what you're saying is true. Listen to me good. You're right. It is true. But it's not true everywhere. Everybody ain't winning. Some places are losing and ain't never won before. Valley can't speak of it. I tell you what, Valley had Jerry Rice and Willie Totten. Willie Totten came back and coached at Valley, right? How many winning seasons did Willie Totten have? And his name is on the stadium. How many winning seasons did he have?
He had one.
Okay. He's 7-4.
Now, watch this. And when he came, he brought one of the best quarterbacks in the state with him, Aries Nelson.
Aries Nelson. I went to high school with him.
And how did he get him though?
He got him from Mississippi State.
Carter, you from Cleveland?
I'm from Cleveland. I can tell you about that. I can tell you how he got him.
Carter. I got to talk to you later. Carter. But so here's the thing, Coach. The point that I'm getting at is that what you're saying is true, but it ain't true everywhere. So when we talk about the possibility of like a Norfolk State to want to think outside of the norm, they're willing and right to do it because they got to look out, because they got to do alternative things, because the way that they've gone about it, it ain't working. If it look like a duck, quack like a duck, it ain't a damn mongoose, Coach. Seriously, they got to try something different.
Here's what I'm saying to you, Coach. Here's what I'm saying to you. Because you shooting stuff up in the air that ain't we assuming that Michael Vick can do this because he has nothing in his. I listen to you. He has nothing in his repertoire, even as a coach, to say that he can do it. Here's a man, and guys, again, I don't want to make this about Michael Vick.
We're not,
but he's an ex-felon. He screwed up real bad, right?
Okay.
That's out there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that they should hold that against him. I'll be the last one to say they can hold something against him. So what we're doing, Coach, we're guessing that he can do this. It's nothing written that says that Michael Vick is going to bring Under Armour like Deion Sanders. It's nothing that they're going to say he can bring that
already. Huh? They got Nike already. You don't have to. See, here's the thing.
Exactly, Coach.
Coach, you got to separate. See, what you're doing is one time.
Here's the difference. Here's the difference, guys. Here's the difference. I'm saying that I've done it at Lane College. I took over at Lane College. Terrible program, right? season tickets went up, enrollment went up just because we won football games. Just because we won. All right. Mm-hmm. Y'all saying because Michael Vick played pro football and he's from there, the season tickets gonna go up. Money is gonna come in there. And they're gonna get their attention.
Coach Cole, let me articulate this to you.
And I'm saying it's good, but something's got to go with that.
Let me say something, Coach Cole. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying Mike Vick, the cultural icon that is Mike Vick, him attaching his brand to Norfolk State is a net positive. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a care if he go 0-10. Him attaching his brand.
I'm not arguing that point.
His brand to Norfolk, whatever. Now, again, my point is saying this is in large part because the professional men, the practitioners of coaching that they've hired in those jobs has failed to produce results, Coach. They have failed to produce results. And because they failed, right, the administration is saying, why would I hire a guy? Why not hire a guy that even if he does lose, we win as an institution?
Can I add something to that?
Go ahead, Marco. You sure can.
All right. So I understand what Coach Cole is saying, but Coach Cole, I'm gonna ask you this question. When a coach is looking or making themselves available for a position that's open, they have representation to reach out to explore that interest, correct?
It's gotten that way lately. It sure have. Guys are getting yes.
All right, so this is the problem as a whole with HBCU. As a whole. When you have a celebrity coach, it's easy to market because their name demands a response from the consumption, the marketplace. But there's something called self-made and hand-picked. So when you have a coach like you, Coach Cole, when you were coaching and you were winning, the marketplace responded to your success. And they were mentioning, and plus at that time, we had Black-owned magazines and all kind of publications that could serve a purpose and a service. Now, in today's world, all we have is YouTube and a couple other outlets, but nobody's really paying for marketing or PR. So if a company is going to represent you to get the job and take the commission once you get paid, once you get hired, you need to still take some money and then pay a PR company to keep your name and likeness out in the public sphere so it can be consumed and you become more familiar as a brand. Now it's easier for you to get other positions or move up and do more things and make it easier for you to recruit. But if we're not doing the job as schools, university, and coaches, if we're not promoting our players, our star players, like for example, we got coaches that went 10-0. You got ESPN Plus, but they didn't create no show on ESPN Plus to cover HBCU, so there's no coaches being called for interviews on ESPN Plus. That money's sitting out there right for the picking, low-hanging fruit. So what I'm saying is this. There are outlets, there are platforms, Urban Edge and others like that are doing extremely well. But now it's time to create that additional content for consumption. Now there needs to be these media and PR firms that come in and say, hey, let us represent you as a coach or assistant coach or whatever, and let us build your profile and put that positive energy into the marketplace and represent and develop and build your name and have some consistency. And that matters. We just saw it. They mentioned Travis Hunter so much in this season. He was a contender for the Heisman. The same thing happened when Steve McNair was playing at Alcorn. They mentioned his name so much that he was a contender for the Heisman. So what I'm saying is this. We can't half-ass and expect the world to give us gold when we hadn't even fulfilled our obligation by paying for what we want. If you want something nice, you go out and work and you pay, you earn it. You want more attention, you want the respect, we have to pay for the marketing, we have to pay for that. And I understand some people are saying, well, you shouldn't hire a celebrity coach. But if you look at your school's marketing budget and all they doing is bringing in interns and underpaying people, you're gonna get a piss poor product every time. What you gonna pay somebody $20,000 that's already a graduate student if you paying them to go on Facebook and all these free places? That's not marketing.
Hey,
but if you get a contract with a company that's got outlets, 32 magazines or online social spots and TV networks and all these different shows, now you end up in on The View and all these other places because you're being paid to place there to present an alternative viewpoint for the young high school athletes going into the marketplace.
Hey, I want to thank you, Marco, for coming on, man. We got Chuck coming up. And Chuck, you had an echo, man. Chuck, you had an echo. Yeah, you got an echo, Chuck.
Is Marco? Well, I tell Marco.
Yeah. Hold on. Marco's still here. Hold on. Let me get Chuck. Chuck, fix that echo. Go ahead, Marco.
Marco, I apologize for jumping off, man. I mean, my computer, my battery died on my computer.
I understand. All I was saying is, look at the current transfer portal. The kids that had some NIL or had some money that's paying for PR and marketing, they getting more shine right now than the kids that don't have no budget. Nobody paying for nothing. So when you pay some money out your pocket, you get what you earn. You get what you deserve because you paid for it. Versus out here banking your seat sales on free. And if you look at PV in Houston, in the Houston market, they ain't paying worth nothing in the market. And what they got, 12 fans. But then you look at all these other schools that's paying. You got Rice. They paying. I'm in Houston, so I see the difference. I see the difference when you see Sam Houston out here. We get mail at my house all the time about investing money or donating money to NIL. They got different packages you can get.
Can I ask Marco? Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why does PWI don't hire NFL guys with no experience? Why they don't hire them? And look, let me they don't average more fans. We do. We don't. You know what I'm saying? It's because their president and their AD and their alumni support them. So we
can I answer that question?
We take the lazy way out of let me hire this guy that has no experience and bring him in and hope that he can come in with some type of sponsorship. So go ahead.
Let me answer that. Let me answer that question.
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen any mail or anything from Texas Southern saying if you invest $5,000 for this player, they'll represent your brand and give you a package?
No.
So the PWI has become a brand in itself, is recognizable by 3 letters. You don't have to say Louisiana State University. You see LSU. So you can. Okay.
So Marco, I know where you're going, right? So why be angry at me and don't be angry at the president and the AD and the board for not putting together and reaching out to our alumni and be upset at them? Why be mad at me?
Because the coach is the coach is on the front line. He on the front line dealing with mama, dealing with the player. The coach has to be attuned to the wind so he knows whether or not we're gonna kick a field goal from the right half or the left hash. The coach got to know what's going on here in the marketplace. The coach should be telling the AD, the president, hey man, I need y'all to increase this marketing budget. I need this, that, and third. That's what the kids looking for. Is make my job easier. I need more than $5,000 for my recruiting budget because I'm one plane ticket, a rental car, and a dinner away from not having no money to go do recruiting. So it all go hand in hand.
Hey, Marco.
Hold on.
Go ahead, Mr. Campbell.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm gonna ask you this question again. And you say, hey man, you got the BMW look like in the back. You're probably a successful brother. You're all in late nuts. I'm gonna give you your respect. But how can you talk about a recruiting budget when Coach talked about Tennessee State and because the state is not paying them and they're blaming Tennessee State? How can I have a recruiting budget of $100,000 when I'm trying to make sure that students are graduating? How can you blame the coach and the athletic department on that when I'm underfunded by $1 billion?
I'm not blaming the coach, but what I'm saying is the coach has some responsibility, and we don't know if the coach is out here fighting that battle behind closed doors. We don't know that. But what I'm saying is if you look at the marketing budget as a school as a whole, you just pick one. I don't care which one you pick any of them.
I'm trying to get, so you're saying because I want to get to your point. So you're saying because Michael Vick brings a cachet that he's going to bring marketing dollars that an average coach would not bring. Is that what your point is? Because I'm trying to make sure I understand your point.
What I'm saying is what you gonna get from Vick with the same energy, the same effort that you put into Odom, is different because Vic has a celebrity that's going to demand a certain thing. You could have got the same result with Odom there if you increased your marketing budget, and if like I said, we can make our own celebrities. If you pay a PR company that's attached to the right TV shows and networks and publications, they'll have you out here flying all over the world. It's saying like when people put out a book and they say it's part of the New York Times bestseller list. That don't mean they sold any books.
Well,
that means it was paid for by the.
Hey, Marco. Hey, we got to get to another card.
All right, go ahead.
I got what you're saying. I appreciate what you're saying, and we need to probably get to another caller.
All right, go ahead, Chuck.
Okay, let me see. Let me get the selfie here.
Well, you got pictures tonight, Rocky.
Okay, all right. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coach Cole. Yeah. Good evening to you three. My question is, I know you I know you're a graduate of Texas Southern, and your brother's a graduate of University of Nebraska. How was it for you all? I know you being an HBCU alum, his being from what you all call PWI. How did they treat your brother during the time? He played at Nebraska under Dr. Tom Osborne, legendary coach, and just how did he was the opportunities available for him before yourself? I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, well,
I just want to know.
Well, our careers are on two different levels. He's in front of me by about 7 years, so I felt at the time, or we felt at the time, that he had more. And during those days, it was about how long you've been coaching, where you've been, and what you've done. You know what I mean? Okay. And at that time, I didn't feel that I was even ready to be a head football coach. So when that happened, we pushed him. But the great thing about it is I came from the HBCU realm, and he came from the PWI realm. So it made a great marriage. And I think a lot of that has to do with our success at those schools as we got together and matriculated through the HBCU arena.
That's interesting, and it's great to. This is an interesting discussion because it shows that we're all not the same.
Here's one of the things, Chuck. And again, man, I didn't start this out to be a hater on Mike Vick, but nobody here is talking about his resume. What makes him gonna be, besides he was a great football player, he went to Virginia Tech, and he went. So my experience, and I'm looking through the realm back 40 years of these celebrity coaches coming in. And only one thing, the difference between now and then is that we got the media behind it. And I got that. Yeah. And I understand the financial thing that, that they may think he brings. See, we all thinking that this was what he's going to bring. But we don't know. When the rubber hits the road, what kind of coach is he going to be? If he goes 0-10, 0-11 the first year, if he goes 2-9 the next year, and 3-7, we won't be having the same talk. In my experience, those guys who have came in and have done that, besides there's now two. There's George, but you can't say Deion because he had some coaching experience that have done it. All the rest in my 40 years, see, I'm talking from 40 years. I'm not talking about from today, was not successful. And all the money and all the attention that we all are guessing that he's going to bring, we'll see. The clock, we're on the clock.
All right, thank you, Chuck. We got one more, Coach, and then we can get to you.
All right, let me know when I can get started because I don't want to cut anybody off. I want to be respectful.
Go ahead, man.
Go ahead, Coach. You got
all right, so here's the deal. I'm gonna answer two of your questions, Cole. The first one was with Eddie George, why didn't Tennessee State get the funding or get the financial backing that Deion had? First of all, you're talking about the difference between an HBCU base and casual bases. With Eddie George, casuals don't view him in the same light as a Deion Sanders, as a Michael Vick, as a Ray Lewis, as a Hans Ward, as a Ed Reed. They don't view him in that same light. And when it comes to getting support from leadership, in the administration, Eddie George is walking and running with two hands behind his back because he's not getting the real support that you think that he is. He's doing all of this despite of. Because one thing about Eddie George, and the reason why he wanted to become a coach, outside of Deion inspiring him to be a coach, was his ability to transform and to help elevate student athletes because he's business savvy. He has the connections and he has the resources to open doors that other HBCU coaches just can't, because he's been in places and spaces that they just haven't. So that's to answer your question number one when it comes to finances. They don't look at him in the same space as they do a Ray Lewis, as a Ed Reed, as a Hines Ward, because they have something in common. The Heisman Trophy, not Heisman Trophy, but the Super Bowl champions and their NFL Hall of Famers, or they were so transformative that they changed the culture in that sports the same way that a Michael Vick has. They don't view him in that same light. Now, to answer your second question, I believe it was about PWIs. Why don't PWIs hire figurehead coaches? That's like comparing the apple to an orange, because for one, PWIs get state support. They get support from the state, and they have a longer head advantage than HBCUs do when it comes to finances and when it comes to, when it comes to the financial part. And the reason being was, I don't want to get too racial here, but we already know the dynamics. If you look at the history of one versus the other, history would tell you that fact. So that's the reason why they don't, because most successful PWIs, they could just plug and play anybody and still has success, compared to an underfunded HBCU that gets no support. That's why a Deion Sanders came into the space and did what he did with the $185 million promotion and exposure that Jackson State didn't have to spend a penny for. That's what they call invisible money. Because of professional wrestling, Eric Bischoff talked about this. They go through 5 years of what's called a negative, right? With $100 million investment worldwide. Same thing that Tony Khan did with AEW, $100 million to go 5 years into the hole to make a positive. In short, you do the investment so you can generate $1 billion for a wrestling company, because that's how successful companies work. You have to go into a negative before you hit a positive. But
now,
with Deion entered, hold on, let me finish here. With Deion Sanders entering this space, he generated $185 million worth of invisible money. That's promotion, social media, and TV wise, right? That transformed and branded the university worldwide. That's why they're able to out-recruit most HBCUs, because they were in households that they weren't in prior to 2020 when he was hired over TC Taylor. Because when they hired,
hold up, bro. We're not gonna let this monologue go too much longer, man.
No, I'm gonna close it right here. Then I'm just gonna sum it up.
All right, I give you 30.
I'm gonna lay my plane.
Go ahead, 30 seconds.
They chose TC Taylor. They chose Deion over TC Taylor in 2020, right? Because Jackson State was in the red. They're no longer in the red because Deion Sanders became the head coach and brought the finances to the. We can go through the P's and Q's. I'm gonna sum it up here. With Michael Vick coming into this space, he's going to dominate HBCUs. Same way for Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, and the rest of them. Hines Ward, I could continuously go on and on. But I'll sum it up with this. These HBCU hires that you're talking about will not have the same impact as the rest when it comes to finances and business, because this is about business. That's why Jackson State is no longer in the red, because they're doing better business. Why? Because Deion Sanders came into the space so that they can look at other opportunities, right? Versus playing G5 teams that will put them in the negative, where they can have more home games, do better business, and now they're at $1 million plus for each home game.
All right.
Because Deion.
All right, he ran out of minutes. So, Coach Cole, go ahead, Coach.
Yeah. First of all, Eddie George did bring money towards Tennessee State. They got a new football field. They got a new practice field. They got a new coach's office. They raised the salaries up of coaches. They went up, both coordinators at 120. His staff and his money was bigger than Deion Sanders when it comes to flat money instead of outside money. PWIs, I'm not just talking about the big ones, the SECs. I'm talking about 1AA schools don't hire black colleges. And we average more fans. We make more money. This one thing, Rocky, and my man Bishop, that nobody talked about tonight is the presidents who's supposed to raise money, the athletic directors who's supposed to raise money. They're putting it all on the football coach. That's why I know they don't know what they're talking about. The AD supposed to take a coach like Mike Vick and go out and raise some money, and the president as well. Nobody is talking about that. We're thinking that, oh man, let's hire Ed Reed and let's hire these guys, bring them into our school, and all the answers gonna be there. It ain't, coach. It ain't. And if they don't come in, which I'm gonna say, out of 10 NFL coaches that'll come in our league and come in and coach football, they're not going to win. And they're gonna walk away with $1.5, $2 million from our program, and then they're gonna sit there and talk about our program.
Now, bitch, let me say this. You caught up with Scotty around the same time I did over on the YouTube channel, maybe even before I did, right? This is the same thing they were saying when Dion came on board, right? Am I?
Yeah, but
I'm not saying they're the same. I'm just saying, but this is what was being said though.
But see, I just think that again, and I'm gonna throw a counterbalance to my guy. I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Willie Simmons, was he a pro player?
No.
Was he even a great college player?
No.
Was he some guy that was working for some white people that everybody knows?
He's a flat out ball coach. That's what he is.
Thank you. And Willie Simmons made FAMU more money in what, 5 years? Because I guess we had the COVID year.
Hey, Prairie View as well.
Prairie View, and to the point that he made us so much money that we were willing to raise money to pay him $500,000 a year. Okay? So to Coach Cole's point, don't tell me that you need Deion Sanders. Well, I saw it first, and Jack State about to see the same thing with T.C. Taylor when they start winning. So I get all, listen, man, I'm in the business about soft money and brand and all that, but I'm gonna tell you the one thing that Brandon, when we went to that Celebration Bowl and we won that, we would have raised $2 to $3 million if we would have had the right person in place. I'm just gonna tell you what I know. And I'm telling you that we were going to give Willie $500,000 because I was one of the people on the phone that was saying my class is going to put up $25,000 every year to get to it. So my thing of it is to Coach Cole's point, the winning and foundation is the key to any success.
Let me. And I'm on through. Florida A&M, coach, is Florida A&M because they've done what over the years?
Always won. First
championship, FCS. Why is not Texas Southern, and I'm going to take this one out of your book, Rocky, Prairie View, Mississippi Valley, Arkansas Pine Bluff, why are those schools not blue bread programs? Because they lost.
And they don't care as much.
They lost. No, Texas Southern pays their head coach more than
that don't mean they care, coach.
Texas Southern pays their head coach more than any black school in America.
Coach
Prairie View is up there.
Coach,
why does those schools not blue bread programs? It's because
they didn't win.
Won.
Yeah, they didn't win. I think they go and coach. If you come accustomed to winning, there's an expectation of winning, and then people realize how valuable winning is. If people have never
so
won,
here's my question, Coach Rocky. This is my question. Yeah, he bring his status with him, but does he know how to coach a winning program?
That's what you Coach. That's what you care about. That's not why they hiring Mike Vick, Coach. Coach, like I told you last night, If anybody says they know Mike Vick is going to win, they are lying. They have no idea what kind of coach he's going to be. They're just lying.
So what I'm saying is, then they need to look at the president. They need to look at the athletic director of saying, why are we taking this chance and paying this guy to do your job?
Coach, let me ask you this here, Coach. Coach, you got to realize, they went and stole Southern's coach, installed him for the past 4 years, and we know what the outcome was.
Right. That makes sense.
Them stealing, going and stealing Southern's coach created a vacuum at Southern, which it hasn't been filled up to this point. Terrence Graves may have filled it, right? But it did create a vacuum, correct?
Right.
There is not a surplus of great coaches out there. Even you say that, Coach. You say only 25% of coaches are winners.
You're right. I buy that.
So, Coach, this is what I say. And you know, Coach, me and you disagree, but for the most part, we agree. And I'll say this: if a winning coach, a practitioner of coaching, goes in and wins, he won't have no problem keeping the job with it. If Odom had won, Vic wouldn't have no opportunity with it.
Right.
They're not firing competent coaches and then installing celebrities, Coach. They're firing coaches who failed, and then they're trying to find a better way of how to get the winning part done. But at the very least, they don't want to hire another guy because guess what? They could go steal Chennis Barrett, Coach. They could go steal Chennis Barrett from South Carolina State, right? But would that guarantee them winning? I'll ask Campbell that. He's a historian. Would that guarantee Norfolk winning?
Well, hold on. I will say this. Them taking Chennis Barrett, I will put more money on him being a winner than Michael Vick. Now, that I'll tell you that 100%. Because coaching is coaching.
It was coaching. Coaching was coaching when they hired Odom too.
No, Odom was on the level. No, Odom was not even close to the level. And no disrespect to Coach O, but he's not on the same level of Coach.
Can I ask though, Rocky?
Yes.
Why does PWIs don't do it? Why they don't do it?
Because they have Coach. You asked this question several times.
Yeah, and nobody has gave me an answer.
No, keep it. Sam actually did answer that. And he was long-winded, but he did answer that, Coach. Because they have a bigger pool, Coach.
A pipeline. They build a pipeline of coaches.
Hey, hold, time out. Now we're not talking about the SEC. We're not talking about FBS at all. We're talking about FCS schools. What FCS schools does it?
Coach, let me tell you this. There's a gentleman that he was coaching at Texas State, and he actually beat Jackson State one year.
They Division I.
Okay, Coach. You know
talk
where
about an FCS school.
You know where
why they don't do that?
No, Coach. You know where he coached at 2 years before he beat Jackson State? He was coaching at a high school in Texas.
Okay.
I think his last name is Joe Barry Kenny.
Hey, Coach, I take that because he got coaching experience.
Now, see, if they start hiring high school coaches, you're going to have a problem too, Coach.
No, sir.
Coach, I don't believe that. Coach. I believe if they hire Coach Sample from Duncanville, or Coach or the guy from South Oak Cliff, Coach Todd, I think you guys who have been in coaching will still have a problem with that, because you'll say they don't have no college coaching experience. They just the ones that state championships in high school. They those guys don't even coach. Check this out.
You know what I'm gonna say? I have a problem if you didn't come from an HBCU school. Yeah.
Coach, my point is, y'all don't even go hire those guys on your staffs to get the players. You're not hiring Coach Sample. You're not hiring Coach Todd. You're not hiring Coach Mathis.
But see, Coach, once again, that's out of the realm, because in the state of Texas, shit, them guys are making $150,000. They damn near making more than you. So they not gonna come to your staff on. But again, why doesn't FCS schools, PWI schools, Don't reach out and just take a pro guy and make him our head coach without no experience. Answer that question.
Coach, I think they have a pipeline of qualified coaches, right?
Because they don't depend on bringing the head coach in, because the AD and the president and the alumni know their duties and their responsibility to help the university out. That's why, and let alone that he don't know what he's doing. That's why they don't do it.
Coach, let me ask you this here, Coach. They gave Odoms a chance, and they gave 3 or 4 other guys before Odoms a chance. What's so difficult about giving this time to see how it all pans out?
Because I'm an HBCU coach, and I know I'm speaking for all the other HBCU coaches have done it the right way, and they let this guy come in and jump the line on what they think he can do and what they think he can bring in. That's why. That's the way I see it. So that's my argument. Right?
Hey, Coach, let me ask you this question, and you ain't got to say this. I want you, and you, Coach JM&E, you talk to a lot of coaches. Overall, how do the coaching fraternity feel about these celebrity hires?
I'm glad you asked, Coach. I am their voice.
Okay.
From Deion Sanders to all of them. They feel that they're robbed. They feel that it's not right. And they won't talk because they still grinding.
And they shouldn't. They shouldn't.
You know, they don't want to talk. So I'm talking for them. You know, I talk to them off the cuff. You know what I'm saying? And they hate it. They don't think it's right. They don't think it's fair. They don't think that, man, I'm trying to do it the right way. It's every time. And Rocky, you probably don't know this, and my audience probably don't know this, is it's hard being a black coach. And every time we get where we want to be or trying to get, they always move the marker. What am I saying? When I was a young coach in the 80s, they say, cut your hair, wear slacks, you know, be professional. When you go recruiting, make sure you shave, you know. Okay, moved it. Then next is, oh, you need to go meet and network more. But here's the problem with the networking part. When you're making $40,000 and you got to go to work every day and you can't really get off to go, yeah, I know you got to grind. I know you just got to make some sacrifices. But if nobody on the staff looks like you, and during them days in the 90s, they only had 2 black coaches on the staff, it was hard to break into that. All right? So where do we turn to as HBCU coaches? Now, there's been some strides made. Believe me, they have. But when we give away those precious 40 jobs, man, to guys that have no coaching experience, man, it's a slap in the face to them guys. It is. It's a slap in the face to say, I've been grinding, I've been trying to do it the right way, and then here comes somebody jumping off that don't have the knowledge, don't have the know-how, never been experienced, besides as a player, then he's better than me, and I've chosen to go to this HBCU school, and he's chosen to go somewhere else and make money for them and never give money back to us, then now he's got the job that I've been working for all my career.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, Blue is right. He did build a program at Incarnate Word, but he also was the head coach at, I don't want to say Kilmer. I can't think of the name of the high school, but he was a high school coach before he was a college coach. That's all that's the only point I was making. He was a high school head coach before he was a college coach. But Blue is correct. My bad.
Right. But no, man, we need to bring it on down. Again, you know, Mike Vick or his people watching our show, man, this was never for my intention to be directly about Michael Vick, the person. Because I don't know him like that. Of course, I loved him as a player in the NFL, but I'm just speaking from an HBCU realm of guys that I know, you know, and have been walked down that cycle and that street and done everything I've needed to do, to put myself or themselves in a position to be a head coach. And knowing that when you look at the percentage at the PWIs, I ain't talking about the FBS. We know that's low. I'm talking about the FCS schools. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the Division II schools, Division III schools, that we're not getting those opportunities. So where else do we turn to? If I can't come home and be the man in my house, then what else is it? That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So that's my position on that.
Well, I understand, Coach. Like I said, I get you being protective of those positions because of the predicament that black men in coaching are in. Right? I understand that. Right? I also understand the struggle of the institution, and the struggle of the institution is that they struggle to get media coverage. They struggle to get support from their own fan base. And until something changes, they'll never be on equal footing as a PWI or a blue blood or predominantly white institution. But we saw with Jackson State, it's a hack to hire a guy who already has a brand, who already has a big name. It puts you in the news cycle. It puts you in front of millions of people that otherwise would not give a damn about Norfolk State. Yeah. And I don't know what it's worth. I don't know what it's worth, but I do know it's worth something. Let me say this. And I'm not gonna begrudge the AD or the president for giving it a shot. Go ahead, Coach.
Let me say this too. Most football programs in this country do not even raise enough money to run itself. Most, and probably 100% on the FCS level, does not raise enough money to support its own self. Scholarships, coaching, no matter if it was Deion Sanders or not. So when folks talk about that, and any AD will tell you that, oh no, the football program, we do that just for alumni support. They don't make enough money where they can just work on themselves. So, once again, I look at it out of different eyeglasses than anybody else. You go ask any athletic director, does the football program make enough money to run itself? No, it doesn't.
But let me say this. I think the way they do, and this is, and I'll ask Campbell can comment on this or whatever. Campbell, if this, you got to understand, HBCU do things a little different than PWIs, right? Because with the success that Jackson State has had, especially the success they had on defense, at a PWI or any other conference, there's no way Coach Quinn doesn't get an interview or a job offer.
100%.
He almost guaranteed to be the coach at Mississippi Valley if this conference operates like a PWI.
Well, look at what Willie Simmons had to do. He had to literally go just to say to white folks, "I'm okay." He had to go to Duke. Honestly, what at Duke made him any better to be the head coach this year or last year? Honestly, nothing.
He did get a check. He did get a Celebration Bowl championship in between him hiring for the job.
No. Listen to what I'm saying. His resume was the exact same when he was the Celebration Bowl champion. Him going to Duke did not add anything. He had to do that because of.
But the job wasn't vacant then.
Yeah, but listen. He could have stayed. Obviously, he knew. Coach knew he needed that white validation.
Oh, okay.
To make the white folks feel good to get there, because he could have stayed at FAMU, ran it back, and all hell would have broke loose, right? So the point of it is, and this is the thing that I guess that when I see these issues, and Coach, listen, and I want to say to everybody listening, I want people to listen and allow us to have conversations like this. No other place is going to allow us to have a championship coach talk about what black coaches are thinking about. I understand you all believe that Michael Vick is a good selection. We have no problem with that. But I think, and I'm saying this to young people, sometimes you need to listen to older people because you're going to be old too. And sometimes it'll allow you to dodge some BS. So what he's feeling is you'll be shocked when you get to that certain age, you might feel that way. And then you say, okay, now I understand why Coach Cole is feeling that way. Or it might happen in your job. So the question goes back to Coach, and I think this is where overall that I wanted to get to the point. Because, Rocky, the question would be, if Willie Simmons was available, right, and Michael Vick was available, they're going to hire Willie Simmons because his resume is going to make it better, right? So we know that and that's why I told Coach, well, I think also fit matters in this situation. I don't think Michael Vick would be great at Alabama A&M. I don't think he'd be great at I don't think he'd be great at Prairie View. I give you one better, Rocky. I don't think he would be great at Sacramento State.
No.
Right? So this clearly means that wherever Michael Vick go is not the magical elixir. And he would have more resources at Sacramento State, right? And everything. But everybody knows that people are saying that if he goes to this place, not every place, this place is a better fit. And that's why I've always tried to make this discussion about that. Because I think, again, with a Sam Shade, a Teddy Keaton, I think if they went to the Norfolk, I think that's not a place for them to be successful. I think Teddy Keaton and Sam Shade could be anywhere else. But Norfolk, again, I put the list up. They have 5 coaches, and none of them have ever been winners. The last 5 coaches. So I think what they did was, we're going to do it. We can't get any worse than what we have. And I think sometimes you do that. I think this is, quote unquote, a little bit of a Hail Mary. Now, Michael Vick makes the Hail Mary look good. But my point of it is, if he goes to Sacramento State, if this show was him going to Sacramento State, this would be a total different. All these people in the chat, they'd be like, oh, no, he shouldn't have went there. They would be saying that. So we have to always talk about fit versus talent and need. And I think this was a talent need versus fit.
I agree. Coach, you have anything?
No, I'm good, Coach, man. You know, I just want to make sure I reiterate my position of this hire. You know, my conversation when I'm for HBCU, Coach. It ain't gonna ever change. I'm from the HBCU graduate. I'm old school. I believe in the grind. I ain't that deep into the social media realm of what it can do and what it can bring. And I know this, Coach and Bishop, you got to win, baby. You got to win.
Yeah, well, listen, and listen, and it's the same thing. Hey, well, listen, hold on, and I'm gonna use the example. We saw this in Colorado, did we not?
Yeah.
They was on Prime's neck.
Yeah.
And they was gunning, and I'm telling you something, them white folks was ready to knock his ass out.
Yes, sir.
We all saw it. He went 4-8, all that dancing and shaking, and you should doing all that. They went 3-1. We ain't hear nothing else about it. And them white folks was getting ready to say, this is a total failure. We tried to tell you so.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. This is where the thing about it is. 9-3. The question is going to be what he going to do next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I think winning is the same in PWIs as it is in black college. It's the best deodorant you can buy. You understand?
all I can say is I've been around black college for the last 40-some years. And Grambling is Grambling because they win. Jackson State is Jackson State because they win. You know what I mean? The Blueberry programs of our Southern was just mediocre till Pete Richardson came there and won 17 straight years. 17 straight years winning seasons. Tennessee State was great when my man before LC came. They had fell off until LC came and won 2 Value championships. Alabama State was dead. After Markham, it was dead. Till LC Cole came there and won at Alabama State in the early 2000s. You can ask Barlow of Greg. You can ask Eddie Robinson. Jackson State had fell off, as well as Florida A&M. And you can attest to that, Campbell, when they fired my man and they fell off.
Was a band school again.
Thank you, Coach. I'm glad you're being truthful about it.
Oh no, we know. Listen, bro, we was 1-10 before Willie got there.
And Florida A&M, because they're a blueberry perk, they used to win it. Did they go hard? Did they go hard a professional player? No, they went hard. Billy Joe to make them win. Then they made a mistake, and then they went hard winning coaches. All those coaches. Grambling, look at Grambling. All right, they hired Doug Williams after Eddie. He won championships. They hired Melvin Spears, championships. They hired Fobb, championships. They fell off. Oh, I'm sorry. And they hired Broadway, championships. So y'all can tell me about celebrity coaches and what they can bring. I get it, but they better bring some damn W's. And I'm done. And I'm dropping the mic, Coach.
Yeah, hey, Coach. I think it's time for you to take us out of here, Coach. You have anything, Campbell?
Hey, man, I do have one thing real quick, and I'll be real brief. Hey, man, I went to the Celebration Bowl, and, man, it was, once again, I've been to every Celebration Bowl but one, and, man, it was just a great family reunion. And I'm going to keep saying this, man. It always warms my spirit. I met a lot of people from all different schools. It was nothing but positive, because we have a lot of people that watch this show, and they appreciate what this show is all about and what you represent. So I just want to let you know that. And so I'm just going to keep saying the real people, the real HBCU fans ain't what's on Twitter. They ain't what's in some of these people in this chat and in them Facebook groups. Real HBCU people are beautiful people that love their school. They're going to do their junk talking, but they always going to have respect. So, man, I appreciate all y'all that saw me out this weekend. Hey, man, and you know what? Congratulations to Jackson State, HBCU national champs. Proud of what you all do, but we'll see y'all next year.
All right, man. Shit, boy, God, this was a show, man. Hey, look. Hey, I was under the fire, Coach. Hopefully I stood in there and punched my way out.
Coach, listen.
But guys, everything we'll see. Norfolk is on the clock, and we'll see how that thing go. I wish Michael Vick all the luck and joy in the world, because he still represents the HBCU school. And that's what I want to see. I want to see success. But I'm always stand behind my HBCU graduates, first and foremost. And nobody's going to get me off of that thing. That's why I started this show. I started this show to help out our HBCU coaches, our young coaches, to be able to move up and get those opportunities that we don't get in the other conferences. So, again, if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, tie a knot and hold on tight, baby. Because them HBCUs, they bad than a mother.
Hey, my name is Danny Wilson, and I won $500 on the lunch break with AJ Jones.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.